The Live in Your Best Life Experiment, Week 16, Chapter 18, Procrastination, Perfection, and the Polish Beer Gardens. So this week's chapter deals with something I deal with all the time, which is procrastination. I am a horrible procrastinator. I will leave absolutely everything down to the last minute and then be rushing around like a crazy lady to get things done. The first section talks about the excuses we use not to do things and stuff like I'm not qualified, I don't have time, there's a million of them. So this next part talks about, when you're saying stuff like I'm not qualified, it's not really about not having the skill set to do the job. It's more about being scared about trying to do the job. And she talks about how we don't give ourselves enough credit for the stuff that we do know, and that we're usually drawn to things that we're good at. And there's no better teacher than necessity, and passion trumps fear. For these ones, I feel like a lot of people don't really realize the things that they are capable of doing until they are put in the position where they need to do them. Whether it's because there's nobody else around to do them, or you can't afford to have somebody else do them, stuff like that. And passion does play a big factor in that. I find it very funny in a way that the things that I deal with during the week, or that I'm thinking about or pondering or whatever, when it comes to reading the chapter, it seems like that specific chapter will touch on whatever I was dealing with during the week. And this week was no different. It was the 2-year anniversary since we had lost one of our coaches. And so I just had him on my mind a lot this week. And the thing about him and the president of the football team was that they always were so sure in my abilities to do things. Sometimes they would come to me with the most outrageous things, and it was never a question of if I could do it. It was more of, what do you need to get this done, and how long is it going to take? And it really showed in 2016, our city was evacuated. 88,000 people were evacuated. Everything we worked on the off season to get ready for this season was left behind in the city, and we had nothing, and we had to decide whether or not we were going to go forward or not with the season. And that year really showed me what passion could accomplish. Here we had all these people, we had no homes, most of them had no jobs, and we had to sort out all of that personal stuff. But every single person on that team committed to making this season work, committed to bringing home the ring for our city. And in the end, and that's exactly what we did. It wasn't a matter of if we could do it, but how we could do it. And every time somebody started slipping and looking for excuses, someone like Coach would stand up and be like, no, we got a job to do. We're going to do this. So it just really shows you what passion can really do. Then we look at procrastination and how it's a form of self-sabotage. And it's usually one that most people will use because it's easy to do. And we need to stop and take a look at, why are we doing things? Why did I just rearrange that desk 5 times for me to write when I could literally just sit down and write? And then she talks about if you're serious, you'll find a way, and if you're not, you'll find an excuse. And for me, I find once I get something in my head that I'm going to do it, I will find a way to do it. You know, whether it's teaching myself how to play guitar and sing, you know, I will be proficient at it one day. And if I don't want to do something, I have a million and one excuses. And I really have to call myself out, to be honest. And then it talks about things we could do to help try to get around procrastination. And this first one, being done is better than being perfect. And that one is a huge one with my art. I had so many pieces sitting for so long because they weren't perfect, or when I looked at them I seen flaws, and I still do that. I hang pieces on my wall because I have trouble seeing past their flaws. And for me, that is a really good way to make me step back and look at the whole picture. You know, it may not be perfect, but all those little imperfections is what makes it perfect to me eventually. And I need to learn how to embrace that a lot faster. So that is definitely an area I need to work on. And then the next one is notice where you stop. Where are you stopping in your projects? Is it at the beginning, in the research stage, in the planning, you know, in the middle when you're like way deep in and you can't see the end? Or is it like at the end when you start getting recognition for it? Is it when you have to talk to the printer? Or, you know, what part is holding you back? And what can you do to prevent that? So for me, usually the big part is at the end, where I have like customer service and, you know, dealing with the printers and all that stuff. It's one of those things that I have trouble with, especially with my social anxiety. And that is why I decided to go with the platform that I did with my art, where they handle all that stuff for me. And I'm going to see if that really helps me or not. And then the next one is make a bet with somebody mean. Somebody's going to hold you to it. Like if you don't follow through, they're going to be calling you week after week for your $20 or whatever. I kind of like that one. I like being held accountable, and that's why I do stuff like this video, because it holds me accountable, and if I don't do it, I am going to hear about it. So I like that one. So this last one really gave me hope. It said, own it and work with it. If you know you're a procrastinator and you understand how you work, and you know that you're just going to be sitting there wasting your time and not really accomplishing anything, why are you wasting your time? Go and watch that movie, you know, take that trip to Spain or whatever it is you would rather be doing, and just make sure you leave yourself enough time to work with. And as always, love yourself no matter where you are. If you're a big procrastinator like me, you still need love. This week has been about self-love for me. I've been dealing with a bit of ups and downs with my anxiety because of my inhaler for my asthma. This week my asthma has been really bad, so that has been fun. So there's been a lot of self-love this week. So I spent most of the week drawing, and I did this portrait on the iPad of Giuseppe Cantone, because he did a cover for me, and it just made my day when he sent it to me, and I thought I would return the favor. And it was like one of those bright moments when somebody does something nice for you and you're able to return that nicety. And for whatever reason, this week turned out to be my Italian rock star portrait week. And this one I call Still Life of a Rock Star. The two people in this one are from a band called Psycho Lies from Bari, Italy. So if you watch the other videos, you know, I was contemplating growing out my hair because most of it's pretty much white now. And I went a good while, probably about 3 or 4 weeks, just going back and forth whether or not I wanted to do it. And finally the other day, I'm like, I'm not ready to be all white yet. And I just dyed my hair. And I feel better about it. I really do. I think at the point when I am ready, I'm just going to shave it all off and be done with it. So all in all, I found this week was really productive. I got a lot of art done. I got a lot of like the not so much fun art business side done. I submitted 2 pieces of writing for review that I'm hoping gets published. And the only thing that I didn't excel at this week was the exercise. Although I did do better this week than I did previous weeks. So it's not a complete loss. And I'm okay with that. So until next week, I hope everybody has a great week. Bye.